Good morning. Welcome to worship with the community of First Unitarian Church of Omaha. I'm Reverend Shari Woodbury, the congregation's minister. Whether you are here in the sanctuary on Sunday morning or joining us online at any time, I'm glad you have chosen to reconnect or connect for the first time with this community. We gather each week to worship, which from the Latin roots means to remember that which is of worth. And so we come together week after week to reground ourselves in our highest values. A special welcome to visitors. This congregation is a community of all ages and abilities. It's a community with a rainbow of gender and sexual identities. It's a community of diverse cultural and class backgrounds. We draw from many different sources of inspiration and share common liberal religious values. Whoever you may be, we invite you to bring your whole self into this space. Visitors are invited to fill out a visitor form. If you're here in the pews, it's a yellow form in the hymnal racks. If you're online, you'll find a link to an online form below the service description on YouTube. And that's a way to get onto our email mailing list if you'd like to keep up with the news of what's happening around the church. Just get to know the congregation a little bit more that way. I also invite everyone to subscribe to whatever social media you're on that we're also on, which includes YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Oh, and Blue Sky. I want to share one announcement from our very socially conscious summer musician, Judy. If you'd like to help distribute safety packets to our immigrant neighbors, please see Judy after the service, and you can get involved in that very worthy project. I also want to mention that the caring team is meeting today in the sanctuary at noon. If you're already involved in that team, we invite you to join in. You probably already knew about it. If you are interested in learning more about this congregation's caring ministry and one of the many different ways you could be involved, you're also invited to join us here in the sanctuary at noon for that caring team meeting. And now Jean Wagner has some special information to share with us about our local public radio, public TV.
Good morning. We need connection these days, these uncertain days. We here at First UU are lucky because we are surrounded by a loving community. But I know there are people out there in our metro who are looking for us. One way we can reach them is by buying ads on KIOS Omaha Public Radio. If we put our dollars together, we can help support public radio and get the word out about First UU. If you want to contribute, please put your donation in the collection plate or mail it to the church or hand it to me. If you're writing a check, please put First UU in the payee line and KIOS in the memo line so it goes to the right place. Thanks for your generosity. And while I'm up here, I'm going to plug the Right Relations Committee workshop on communications, which will be held the following 2 Saturdays in June from 9 to 12. It's interesting, and you'll get to know some of your community members better if you come and have a muffin with us and talk about communicating. Thank you.
Thanks, Jean, and thanks to our Right Relations Committee for offering this adult learning opportunity. I just heard a lovely spontaneous testimonial for it and how useful yesterday's session was for learning more about covenant and its role in our faith. Our church occupies the traditional treaty lands of the Omaha and Otoe-Missouri tribal nations, whose sovereignty existed long before the state of Nebraska. We'd like to express our respect as well to the Ponca, Winnebago, and Santee Sioux tribes, all native to this area, as well as many others who are represented in the metro area. Our goal is to continue to educate ourselves and support causes, charities, and rights of Indigenous people. for our opening song here. It's number 73. You can remain seated. This is just a gathering chant, and we're going to do just the summer verse of this chant for the seasons. Vernal clouds have turned the I invite forward Linda Parker, one of our Side with Love You the Vote team members, to light the flaming chalice. Will you join me in the chalice lighting words? Spark of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life. Today, God is running late, trying to find their seat, scanning the room for someone they know or someone they don't. God's feeling evangelical, but not in a judgy way. Mysterious, but not manipulative. God can't stop thinking about the James Webb Telescope and the possibility that time is not linear, which God might have guessed. From the never-ending urgency of the next protest action and the likelihood that sometime next week, back-to-school supplies will show up in stores. God is tired of grief and white supremacy and growing authoritarianism and the warming of the oceans. Not to mention, they usually bike to church, and it's hot. Why hasn't the climate-friendly air conditioning been installed yet? God wonders. And of course, we're all like, no kidding, God, can you do something about that? But God's hearing aid batteries ran out, and they haven't had time to order more. Or that's what they said when asked and can hear the question. But really, that last emergency room visit maxed their credit cards, and their partner's been working DoorDash for some extra cash, but it's just not enough. And really, God just wants to be present. Stop worrying about everything. Sing, breathe, laugh. We got you, God, we say. We'll settle in, and we'll be present, and we'll sing. We'll tell stories and breathe deep. We'll remember ourselves and offer whole galaxies of gratitude for all this beauty, for the still blooming salvia and mulberries turning purple, zucchini bread and the U.S. women's soccer team, for no kings rallies and entire villages of people saying, "You are safe here, God. Your creation is not yet done creating you. Come, let us worship together." That was called God Comes Late to Church. I invite you to rise if that feels good in your body and join in singing number 311, Let It Be a Dance. Each week, we practice the spiritual value of generosity as we take up a community offering. Half of undesignated gifts are donated to a local cause, which resonates with UU values. The other half supports the work of this congregation. If you're online or prefer to give with your smartphone, you can use the QR code or link provided. For June, our Share the Plate recipient is PFLAG, Parents, Friends, Families and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. PFLAG is the United States' largest organization for parents, families, friends, and allies united with people who are lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, queer. Thank you for giving in a spirit of generosity for PFLAG and for this church. And a reminder, if you want to support KIOS and help get our name in front of some new people, you can put a separate gift for KIOS in the offering plate. come to the time for sharing of joys and concerns. We do this each week as a way of drawing closer together. When we share the happy things that are happening in our lives, others can share in that joy and be lifted up with us. And when we share the things that are difficult, our community can express its care. I want to name sorrow for two Minnesota legislators who were targeted early yesterday, one of whom, along with her spouse, died, and for rising violence in our political life more generally. And gratitude to all of you who turned out to the No Kings rally here in Omaha, Council Bluffs, yesterday. What else do we have, Colin?
From Julie Unger, saying a concern for our immigrant friends and neighbors to give them strength and support during this difficult time.
We know that there very likely are both joys and challenges that are held silently. I invite you as we sing our centering song to hold all of our community in your heart. It's number 352, Find a Stillness. On the wings of this music, let us enter a period of silence. You may wish to check your posture, rest your hands gently on your lap. Perhaps let your eyes slide closed if that feels good to you. I'll end the period of silence with the sound of the bell. Before we begin that quiet time together, I share with you a prayer from Parker Palmer, which opens up the Lord's Prayer of Christian tradition to new understandings. I invite you to listen for what might be there for you in this fresh interpretation. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, holy and blessed is your true name. We pray for your reign of peace to come. We pray that your good will be done. Let heaven and earth become one. Give us this day the bread we need. Give it to those who have none. Let forgiveness flow like a river between us, from each one to each one. Lead us to holy innocence, beyond the evil of our days. Come swiftly, Mother, Father, come. For yours is the power and the glory and the mercy. Forever your name is all in one. A time of quiet for your own meditation or prayer. Our reading this morning is a poem from Peter Friedlich. It's titled Release. I wish I were like the trees who let their leaves go gracefully without regret, or the tumbling stream that flushes silt to sea, exchanging murkiness for blessed clarity, or the dandelion who bows its head to the subtle breeze, unleashing its future without fear or loss. Instead, I drive white-knuckled, defensive, as we were taught, tense and guarded for what may come my way. I keep a death grip on my life. If you asked me for my dying wish, it would not be for 10 more wishes. It would be to let go of wishing anymore. Wishing I'd made different choices and that I hadn't hurt you as I did. And to forgo those old and dusty grudges that I keep like pictures in a shoebox beside my bed. I long to embrace my life with a lover's touch, or as you would an injured wren, precious, tender, true. Instead, regret and fear, twin anchors, hold me fast, close in against the shore. Cast off, I hear them call from the open, exotic lands my heart yearns for. But the waters in between my here and theirs hold unknown hazards, unlike this dark, familiar port. This day, a prayer to ease my grip on what once was or what is meant to be, that I may find myself content to drift and float upon life's boundless sea. Words of Peter Friedlich. After the events of this week, and as of yesterday's breaking news about the Minnesota legislators, I considered whether to stick with my planned topic for today or pivot. I want to share with you that I'm a big believer in both and thinking rather than either or thinking. Do you know what I mean by both and? Though most often the answer isn't option A or option B, but both. Not action or rest, but periods of action alternated with periods of rest. Not doing our wholehearted best or letting go of results, but one after the other. Not a question of either being the change we wish to see in the world or having faith in a larger whole, but both. With that in mind, let's consider this human being upon life's boundless sea. I invite you to hold it all lightly and to listen for what might speak to you in this moment. A one-paragraph newspaper article describes a subway platform during the morning rush hour at Grand Central Terminal, apparently in wintertime. A train pulls in. A well-dressed woman gets off. Before the doors close, the woman realizes that she is holding only one of her leather gloves. She looks back on the train and spots the matching glove on the seat. It's obviously too late to dash back in to retrieve it. So with a cavalier shrug, she flings her arm out, and the door is about to close, tosses her other glove onto the seat besides its mate. The door is shut, and the train pulls away. Now there's a person who knows how to be like a fluffy dandelion in the wind, unleashing its future without fear or loss. It is such a generous response. Someone is going to discover the lone glove on the seat of the train, and having just one wouldn't do any of them good, so the woman makes the complete set available to whoever finds them. The gloves will keep someone's hands warm. I'm not sure if I would have had that same impulse, split second in that moment before the doors closed, but they were just gloves, after all. What if something more valuable were lost? Writer Mark Nepo tells the story of a deeper loss and the healing that was able to emerge through letting go. Nepo tells how one day a woman named Melina came home to find her home had been ransacked. All of her belongings had been trampled and broken as the robbers searched for those things that could be sold: her stereo, her television, other valuables. One item in particular was broken beyond repair, something that had sentimental value. Her grandmother, who had carried it through the Holocaust, had given it to her. Melina came home just as the thief was leaving. They looked at each other for a few seconds before the young man ran off. Melina was questioned by the police and filled out all the papers that she had to. Then she returned home to the rubble. About 3 weeks later, they apprehended a suspect, and Melina had to go to the police precinct to pick him out of a lineup. When she did that, they held him while she filed charges. As she was doing that, though, something came over Melina, and she felt the need to confront this man to be able to move on. The detective advised her not to do this, but Melina was determined to talk to the thief, so they let her speak to him with an officer in the room. She sat down opposite him and began to look the thief in the eye. He was clearly uncomfortable, but after a few minutes, he started to look back. Melina asked about his life. The man was unsure at first, but began to tell his story. He was an out-of-work electrician in his 30s with a wife and a baby. He had a drinking problem. The rent was overdue, and their baby needed medicine. And he had a bad idea. Then Melina told him her story about growing up in Chicago with her grandmother, about becoming a therapist, about her belief that we need the help of others to make it through. Finally, she spoke of his breaking into and destroying her home and breaking the one treasure she had from her grandmother, who was now gone. The thief broke down a little and began to tremble. Melina says, "We were no longer victim and perpetrator. We were simply two ordinary people trying to make our way." He apologized to her. Melina finally stood up and said, "I accept your apology. I hope you find your way." And with that, she left the room and told the detectives that she had decided to drop the charges. On her way home, she wondered if she had done the right thing. Melina hadn't planned any of this. Explaining to a friend later why she dropped the charges, she said she hoped that someday someone might give her a second chance. Not only was he able to move on, but so was she. She wasn't letting go just of the heirloom, a connection to her beloved grandmother. She was releasing the anger and hurt inside of her too. She realized that the burglar's reasons for what he did had nothing to do with her story and everything to do with his. Sometimes we humans keep a tight grip, even when it seems we're not involved at all. I picture this next story from the Buddhist tradition taking place somewhere in Asia, the monks in saffron-colored robes. Here's the tale. Two monks were on a pilgrimage. One day they came to a deep river. At the edge of the water, a young woman sat weeping. She was afraid to cross the river without help. She asked the two monks to come to her aid. The younger monk glanced at his traveling companion, cognizant of the vow that they had each taken not to touch a woman. Inwardly, the young monk strengthened his resolve. The older monk, in contrast, picked up the woman without a word and carried her across the river. He put her down gently on the far side and then continued on his journey. The younger monk couldn't believe what had just happened. After rejoining his companion, he was speechless. An hour passed without a word between them, then 2 hours, then 3. Finally, the younger monk could not contain himself any longer. He began to scold and berate his companion for breaking his vows. He went on this way for some time. Finally, at the end of the day, the older monk turned to the younger one. "Brother, I set her down on the other side of the river," he said to his companion. "Why are you still carrying her?" It's hard to put down those things that we're attached to sometimes. Hard to let go of a simple glove or a beloved heirloom. Difficult to drop anger or hurt when we feel someone has harmed us, or maybe even guilt when we think we've done something wrong. And these feelings of aversion, ironically, can have a sort of hold on our hearts and minds that's not so different from the energy of attachment. The younger monk could not let go of the young woman from the river, even though he had not carried her across. He followed the letter of his vow not to touch a woman, while his older and wiser companion was faithful to the spirit of the vow and perhaps to other vows he had made about how to treat one another. I suspect that it's in our relationships with people, real relationships, not just chance encounters, that the human heart is most challenged to let go gracefully, as a tree does its spent leaves, or a peony its soft pink petals. As social beings, we are hardwired to be attached to each other. When a dear friend moves away, it's not easy to say goodbye. And that's true whether you and your friend are 15 or 55. It can be hard to let go of a romantic relationship, even when it's run its course. Parents sending their grown children off to college or work may be gripped as much by grief as by joy at this natural, expected life transition. And the final transition, death, that takes so many loved ones away from us if we live long enough to be the one left grieving. Well, that's its own peculiar journey. Oh, to be, as the poet put it, like the dandelion, who bows its head to the subtle breeze, unleashing its future without fear or loss. For anyone whose work is not just a job, but a vocation, a labor of love, particularly in a helping profession or a position of responsibility to others, it can be hard to let go and leave work at the office. Anybody relate to that? Whether it's at the end of the workday, or on the weekend, or when vacation time rolls around. I've seen some surveys that indicate that as many as 2/3 of all Americans don't even take all of their paid time off that they're allotted at their workplace. Over half of those that do take vacations report that they regularly check their work email while they are on vacation. Of course, this only pertains to workers who are given vacation days. In a culture that equates individual worth with work, perhaps it's not surprising that it's so hard for many of us to let go of our jobs or professional roles and actually relax for more than a weekend. There are social pressures, financial pressures, and internalized messages about self-worth, all pressing us to keep going. Well, this is all feeling rather personal to me, as my first sabbatical and a decade of congregational ministry draws near. The word sabbatical, by the way, has the same root as Sabbath. It's referring to a time of rest, much as Sunday, the seventh day, is designated as a day of rest in biblical tradition. My 4-month sabbatical from congregational ministry starts in July, and I will return in November. We'll be hearing more about that 2 weeks from now in my last sermon before the sabbatical, and then the first Sunday in July when we're having a brunch church, and the sabbatical team will be sharing more with you about that period. I'm very grateful for the support of church leadership and the hard work of our sabbatical team and our worship arts team, which is making this time possible. And I feel in equal parts eager for this time of renewal and edgy about it. I want to share with you some of the reasons, a list of some of the reasons it's often hard for clergy to let go of their roles and responsibilities. Our sabbatical team worked with an Alban Institute book on clergy renewal and preparing for this time with the church. And the book offered some insight for me as well. So here's a top 10 list of reasons ministers sometimes find it challenging to practice the rest of sabbatical. Comes from Rich Sauer, and I've adapted and augmented it. And you might actually try to translate these into your life situation and notice if any of them would apply to you as well. So here we go. Top 10 reasons religious leaders postpone or resist sabbaticals. Number 10. I will go into withdrawal without the continuous stream of emails, texts, Facebook messages, and phone calls that punctuate life in the parish. Number 9, church might not be able to function without me. Number 8, church might well be able to function without me. What if they don't need me? Number 7, ministers don't have enough casual clothes to wear without the collar and the stoles and all that stuff. Number 6, clergy fear there will be a coup if they are gone too long and they won't have a job when they come back. This happens in ministry. And getting fired for actually taking time off that's allotted or being passed over for promotions is one of the reasons that, everyday American workers in various sectors give for not taking their full PTO. Number 5, what if you forget my name? I won't forget yours, but you might forget mine. Number 4, I might forget how to preach and lead worship, how to do the most visible, specialized part of my role. Number 3, too much rest, hiking, travel, and renewal is boring or will force me to face my inner demons. Number 2, I won't be able to use "I'm burned out" as an excuse anymore. And number 1, I will finally learn that my value is not based on what I produce or do for others, but that I have inherent worth. So I'm working to practice what I'm preaching today when it comes to letting go. We all need times, as the poet wrote, to find myself content to drift and float upon life's boundless sea. We all need times of renewal, even if the transition into a season of rest is a bumpy one. As it happens, life gave me an early reminder about all of this yesterday. A reminder about there being times for action and times for rest, and that not every action needs to be done by me. You see, I had intended to meet up with some of you at the No Kings rally. We are at such a critical moment in our nation. I feel like people are always saying that, then every era people are saying that. I've said it many times in my life, but it's never felt more true than it has right now. And I felt moved to be part of the energy of that rally and the message that we are a nation of the people, by the people, for the people, that we must preserve it and restore it as a democracy, not a dictatorship. But I got up yesterday and I found that I just couldn't. I mean, besides the fact that I still had work to do, Saturday is a working day for me, my body and my brain said no. I did not have it in me to show up at 10 a.m. in the sun and the heat and be an introvert among, thousands of other people. And my spouse advised me to listen to my body, and he was right. Now, I know some of you have faced a similar dilemma before. Perhaps you also had the same dilemma yesterday, whether due to chronic illness or other disability, a demanding schedule of work and parenting, mental health concerns, or even in the case of something like protest, identities that might make you more vulnerable if you were to be a participant. We can't always do all the things we want to do, including in social action. And yes, even in these very dire times. And you know what? We don't always need to do all the things. Not every person, not every time. Several members of the congregation actually approached me this spring with questions on this very dilemma, recognizing this precipice our country is on, wanting to be part of positive action, and yet grappling with real personal limits. Wondering, if I can't go out on marches or whatever the action of the day was, what can I do? I wonder how many people in this room have asked themselves that same question. Well, I'm happy to share that a new resource is coming out soon for UU congregations to use together as all ages communities. This will be working with Deepa Iyer's workbook titled Social Change Now, a guide for reflection and connection, which is published by our own UUA's Skinner House Books. This book is the UUA Common Read across UU churches across the country for the 2025-2026 church year, and resources have been developed especially to help congregations engage with it. They're going to release some of this next week during General Assembly. These resources include a 3-session track for adults and older youth, a kind of small group ministry style, plus a multi-generational program. The sessions are meant to help guide congregants to apply Deepa's model to their own community through a UU faith lens. As you can see from the slide, Iyer fleshes out 10 different roles by which people contribute to greater equity, justice, and the common good. 10 different ways of flexing people power. Only a couple of those roles are primarily about showing up in the street. There are many other ways to contribute. Well, if this program piques your interest, I invite you to email the adult RE team at the address listed there to let them know that you're hoping we will be able to offer this program. We've got some folks who are going to be checking out the orientation session and considering offering this to our congregation. Whatever role fits you, I invite you to let go of the expectations that you can or should do it all. We all have different capacities, different life situations, and different gifts to bring. And different seasons of life will call for different choices from us individually. Periods of action and periods of rest. Doing wholeheartedly those things we choose to do, and then letting go of the immediate results. Being the change we wish to see, and having faith in the larger whole. It's not all on you or me or any one of us. Letting go is a choice. Not an easy one, necessarily. Not something we can force before we are ready, but something we can live into. Instead of keeping a death grip on life, we could ease our grip. Like the tumbling stream that flushes silt to sea, exchanging murkiness for blessed clarity, as the poet wrote. What happens when we do let go of those things our every instinct wants to hold on to? We get back the energy that was wrapped up in that thing or that role or that relationship. We can use that energy for other purposes, for leaving this life peacefully when the time comes. And for all the years, all the decades between now and then, we can use that freed up energy for living a full and good life, because we all are worthy. As Friedrichs put it in his poem Ending, this day a prayer to ease my grip on what once was or what is meant to be, that I may find myself content to drift and float upon life's boundless sea. May we all learn to ease our grip and know the freedom and contentment on life's boundless sea. So may it be. Amen. I invite you to rise, if that feels good in your body, to sing number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. But take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone.
Postlude, please feel free to sing along on the chorus. I think a lot of you might know this. Open mine eyes that I may see glimpses of truth that has for me. Open mine eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine, love of my life, I am crying, I am not dying, I am dancing, dancing alone in the madness. There is no sadness, only a song of the soul, and we'll sing this song. Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time. Why don't you sing this song? Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time. What do you do for your living? Are you forgiven? Giving shelter. Follow your heart, love will find you. Truth will unbind you. Sing out a song of the soul, and we'll sing this song. Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time. Why don't you sing this song? Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time. Come to your life like a warrior, nothing will bore you, you can be happy. Let in the light, it will heal you, and you can feel you, and sing out a song of the soul. We'll sing this song. Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time. Why don't you sing this song? Why don't you sing along, and we can sing